and welcome to New World Review, where everything is flying off the shelves. That's right, we are selling every single opinionated word we have for the low, low price of your time. Give us your time and your soul, and we will give you opinionated words you will never regret. Some regret may occur. It's me, Grand Line Waifu, here for episode 19 and 20 with fighting aplenty and wacky inflatable arm men, because sometimes you just gotta sell that non-existent merch. Liam, I need merch to sell, get on that. Beanies. Everyone loves beanies. Put Leorio in a beanie, put Hisoka in a cool beanie, put me in a cool beanie. Yeah, beanies are the best. If you too like beanies, click that thumbs up button like a cool dude. If you think beanies are an awful idea, you just don't have a beanie. But if you don't like what you're seeing, hit that thumbs down button. Now, the episode. This episode was fantastic. I don't know how else to begin this review. I know that at the top of my review for episodes 17 and 18 I said I was bored, but I knew it was because we were on track for something like this. We had to put together the setup of all the things we're starting to see come to fruition. It was funny and tense and painful to watch, and I really appreciated everything about it. From finding out more about pretty boy Hanzo to seeing Leorio and Kurapika get genuinely angry to seeing Killua just not get it. Let's zoom in on some of these things a bit more because they truly deserve it. Gon not giving up was entirely expected, but I didn't expect the series to get as specific and dark while it did. The last time we saw Gon unwilling to give in, it was with a Hisoka punch in episode 16. We know that he won't give in. We know that he doesn't want to give up, and we know that he has a score to settle with Hisoka. There's no way he's going to allow that to go unchecked. We also watched what looked like a grown man beating up a child. Until Hanzo told Gon how old he was and saw Gon's reaction to that, I did think it was more heartless than it felt afterward, though it's still pretty heartless. It's rare, by which I mean it's not rare at all in anime and manga, but bear with me, to see children so deliberately beaten down. On the point of Gon's arm break, I have to be honest and say I didn't listen to it. In very childlike fashion, I covered my ears because the sound of breaking bones is an emotional trigger. I take it as gospel that it happened, and the way he held his arm was enough for me. The fact that things got that dark at this early stage in the final phase of the exam actually gives me an odd form of hope for what comes next. If they're not afraid to go to these places now, it gives a good sign that they won't be concerned about going further later. On the issue of cutting Gon's legs off, it seems odd in retrospect that Hanzo didn't consider Gon bleeding out, but it was hilarious, especially because there was so much tension in the scene. Giving us that tiny laugh was very much what we needed after Gon getting such a beating. I knew, because he's in all the opening titles and was the first character introduced to us, that Gon wasn't going to fail or die during the exam. He's the one we've been following from the get-go, and this isn't Game of Thrones. I do wonder how everyone else's battles will go, given they can't just beat each other until they give up. It's a pretty neat way of running a tournament, very millennial. As a millennial, I can totally say that. We're all winners, except that guy. Gon being an ass about winning is so typical child, and the angle of that particular frame where Hanzo's looking down at him while he looks up was so reminiscent of every child I've ever worked with that I almost threw my computer across the room. You know who you are. There are times the art is perfectly on point, and this was one of them. Another perfectly on point moment was Netero saying no to Killua. It was unexpected and tickled me in a way I simply don't understand. The comic timing involved here was frankly wonderful. And that's something we haven't had for a little while, I feel. Verbal comic timing. It's been so physical. Leorio, Tonpa, Netero, even Hanzo. They've been our physical comedy and our comic relief. I don't include Gon in this because he's our anti-protagonist. He's required to be able to engage in every genre simultaneously. The ups and downs of the episode were potent and delicately handled, and I very much appreciated that. Both emotionally and physically, my body reacted quickly and strongly, and the phrase emotional whiplash is the perfect descriptor for this episode. The boredom of episode 17 was well balanced arc-wise with this episode. That brings me back to why I review each episode one by one. As I watch, I want to see whether there are any individual episodes that would make me disconnect from the series. I review each episode individually for that reason, but I keep the entire arc in mind too, because that's something I can also do. So far, the only episodes that might have led me to disconnect was episode 17 because the energy was so disjointed. However, by that point, as an audience member, I've invested enough time in the arc to think, I'll give the next couple of episodes a go and find out what happens to Gon before I stop. Guess what? Wrapping up that detail led us to episode 19, got me re-engaged fully in the series and kept me going. With that in mind, let's keep it going with episode 20. Goodness me, we're racing through. Episode 20 was good, but not as great as episode 19. While I appreciate that Gon is the one we follow and the one we're primarily interested in, I'm not a big fan of flashbacks, especially in the way it happened this episode, unfortunately. The only thing missing was the airwaves as we went back to a time like it was yesterday. It actually was yesterday, so I suppose that helped. I just wish we could have had less in the way of congratulating Gon, especially since they didn't go into much more detail about what it means to be a hunter in the information we already had. That information is still pretty close to zero, which makes things not confusing, but vague. Hunters can kill as they please. Hunters can look for things. They're often varied in their skill sets, and they sometimes value and do not value their action card. It's very odd that 20 episodes into a series with double the amount of hunter in its title compared to other shows, we still don't actually know how they're using the word or whether it's the same twice. Hunter squared. Hunters finding hunters, which when I think about it makes sense for Gon. We can add that to the mix. I'm ready not to be so in the dark about being a hunter. While it's possible to argue that we're learning along with Gon, I think it would all be less of an issue for me if Gon made note of the fact that maybe he would learn what it is to be a hunter now that he is one. Given how many people we have and how many different reasons they have for wanting to be a hunter, I don't understand why the information about what a hunter actually does has been withheld like this. The opening of the anime itself has the outline of the idea that people are drawn to explore the unknown and find riches, so they become hunters. This is all well and good, but they're taking a test to do it. I want to know what was happening in that orientation, and I don't want it to be brushed over as inconsequential information. That's something I feel very strongly about at this point. At the end of the episode, we stepped into their orientation, which is truly the first time and place that maybe we could find out why one needs to take a test to be a hunter at all, and whether there are any actual responsibilities about being a hunter beyond being an elite something or other. Ugh. Let's put that aside. Killwa's brother. Let's discuss him for a bit. Creepy guy who dug his way into the ground only to emerge a beautiful pin-headed butterfly. People like he and Hisoka are good examples of why a hunter exam seems like a strange thing to me. Anyone powerful enough or strong enough can essentially become a hunter, and that leads to questions of why the classification exists. I'm hoping that gets explained to us. Back to Illumi. We knew that Killua came from a family of assassins. We knew that he was a child assassin and that he had promise. To see him back down from a fight with someone, even a family member, when we know that he had almost killed his mother, says something about the training he received. The control Illumi has over him is highly disturbing, and I both desperately want to know and do not want to know at all what the training of assassins entails. The moment Illumi essentially tells Killua he's broken and that he can never have friends, I felt a wave of empathy for Killua in a way I haven't before. Here's a kid who's desperate to be like other kids, but instead is told that all he can enjoy is killing. We're all agreed Illumi's wrong, right? We saw he and Gon having fun just a few episodes ago, waiting for time to pass. We saw how he cared for Gon and wanted him to pass the exam. Even if the question was whether he was struggling to decide whether to kill Gon or not, we've seen them having fun together. The friendship they've grown over the years, days, has been important. It's been the only time we were able to see Gon and Killua as the messed up psychopathic children they are. They play, they compete, and they engage with each other. Killua may be a Killa, but he's capable of friendship. In case you haven't realized, my maternal side is coming out to play. Yes, we have our two resident psychopaths, but they are obviously child psychopaths, and nothing can change their creepy friendship. The moment of Killua saying Gon was going to pass the exam because Killua said so was a huge turning point for the character. He made clear the appreciation of his friend. Illumi can go jump in a hole, frankly. Leave my boys alone with your creepy swirl eyes and your pins of creepy distortion. It's the first time, this moment, in fact, that we see Killua break out of his calm, unwavering observation. Even while Gon was in his final phase match, Killua didn't understand it and got mad about the fact that in his mind, Hanzo just gave up. Killua did not see the underlying emotional impact Gon could have on people. Killua has much to learn about friendship and about people, and I'm excited to see what becomes of this because the character has so much mileage. To be an assassin, you need to be able to turn off your empathy and do a job. Killua has been able to do that for the most part, but the more he spent time with Gon, the more he's left a little empathy behind to observe Gon with. And an assassin with empathy is a dangerous thing. Seeing Killua kill Bodoro? Help. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Seeing Killua kill Bodoro? Seeing Killua kill someone
This is unfair because I know you're going to edit this in. This is mean. But I'm still going to keep trying.
Seeing Killua kill Bodoro made me wonder why he did it. Was it to gain control over the situation in a way he could? Or did he do it to help Leorio pass the exam because that is what Gon would want? Was he trying to prove his friendship to Gon in a time when he didn't feel he could protect Gon? It's arguable that he just lost his mind and reacted, but I'm always searching for meaning in behavior, and I think that may be it. I look forward to finding out whether I'm right, but for now we're going to wonder where he is. Where is Killua? Hopefully we'll find out next episode, but for now, this is it from me. If you enjoyed this video, then please do leave this video a like, share, or subscribe. And if you'd like to join the fun, then please do head over to the Discord server where a wide array of shenaniganry takes place on a daily basis. And finally, please do comment with your thoughts on episodes 19 and 20 of Hunter x Hunter. This has been the New World Review, and I'll see you next time.